The James Webb Telescope is providing another unprecedented look at the galaxy.
NASA and the European Space Agency released this latest image today showing a Wolf-Rayet star about to go supernova. NASA says it is one of the biggest and most briefly detectable stars that we know of. CBS News space analyst Bill Harwood joins us now from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It's good to see you, Bill. So tell me, what stands out to you most about this new image, and how interesting and important is it that they have actually caught this star in that transition process?
Well, you know, it's exactly what you said. This only happens in a very brief period of time before the star blows up. And then, of course, you never see these precursor events like you can see in this picture. You know, stars like the sun stay stable by balancing the outward push of radiation produced by fusion in the core and the inward pull of gravity, right, of all that mass. Well, when you run out of nuclear fuel in the core, then the core collapses and the star goes supernova. So what's happening right now with this star is it's blown off its outer atmosphere now, and it's a star about 30 times more mass than the sun, and all that gas you see around it, it amounts to about 10 times the mass of our sun has already been blown out into space. And when the fusion reactions finally stop, the star will explode. So what pictures like this show are the details leading up to those final moments, which are really important in terms of stellar evolution and how the elements that make life possible, for example, are actually formed.
30 times more mass than the sun. I feel like, once again, my brain is incapable of understanding the vastness of space.
Well, you really want to understand the vastness of it. It's about 15,000 light years away from us. It's in the Sagittarius constellation. But I'm just
her dropping some knowledge.
Like Bill, I'm just completely fascinated by every aspect of this.
And it is remarkable to think about those moments that we just haven't seen captured this way before. So going forward, Bill, I wonder, what should we expect from the James Webb Telescope? Because this is pretty remarkable.
You know, it really is. I mean, almost every picture we see from James Webb is mind-blowing, if you will. Mm-hmm. You know, one of its great objectives is to look back as far in time as it can to discover when stars and galaxies first lit up after the Big Bang. You know, and it's already showing hints that it's very, very different from what the astronomers had theorized. They're seeing signs of galaxies much, much earlier than anyone thought possible. In other words, you know, and so it leads to the question. You had the Big Bang explosion, and then you have some sort of let there be light moment where stars turn on and galaxies begin forming, and it's happening very fast. It's much faster than anyone thought. But, you know, we could talk all day about what Webb may or may not show us, because that's the beauty of it. You don't know until it goes off and looks. But its ability to see things like this Wolf-Rayet star in such unprecedented detail really promise great things for the future. I mean, I think it's going to continue to blow our minds, just like Hubble did. When Hubble got up there, you know, and we saw those amazing pictures from Hubble. This is going to be the same thing, except even more, if you will.
Yeah, when you see that side by side of Hubble, which was revelatory, and then you see James Webb, but much closer to home. We're going to ask you about SpaceX and their latest endeavors, Bill. They're testing out connecting its Starlink service to T-Mobile later this year. Tell us how that's different than any normal cell phone service.
Well, it's interesting. You know, they announced this partnership, if you will, last year, and now they're going to, as you say, they're going to start testing it. I mean, the idea is pretty simple. SpaceX has launched more than 4,000 Starlink satellites to date, and they plan to launch thousands more. And the more advanced models, which they're now launching, have the capability to connect directly to a cell phone. So imagine yourself in a national park somewhere where there are no cell phone towers anywhere around, and you get lost, or here comes a bear, you know, whatever, and you want to contact somebody. You know, in theory, then, you could take your cell phone out of your pocket, connect to a satellite, and send text messages or even voice, which would be pretty cool if they can pull that off. And the neat thing about Starlink in this case, it's global. You could be at the North Pole and contact a satellite with your cell phone. So, you know, there are a lot of unknowns in this. We don't know what that's going to cost people to use a service like that. It's not going to be like your normal cell phone service. In other words, you're not going to be sending videos or, you know, high-resolution pictures, but it will be able to handle texting and voice data, and from anywhere in the world, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I can just imagine the applications in the emergency services realm, right, where rescues often occur in areas where precisely because there is no service, it's so urgent to get help where
So
it's needed. Yeah.
I'm thinking about how much better a human being you are, Elaine, because you're thinking about that. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, but is this going to solve the problems in the New York City subway and my inability to send a text message when I'm commuting to work?
I think that's a different issue.
Entirely different.
You might need a different type of satellite for
Right,
that.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
you know,
yeah, go ahead, Bill.
well, one thing I was just going to point out, you know, Apple is working with another satellite company called Globalstar to be able to handle purely emergency satellite communications, texting primarily. So I think this is an emerging field. We're going to see more companies getting into this, but it's not going to be too long down the road till you're going to be able to go out somewhere with your cell phone where there's no service at all and make a phone call, and that's going to be a game-changing event.
More to come. All right, Bill Harwood. Bill, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.